Hi guys, it's Maitoy here, and today I'm gonna try to use this thing to play the blues. For some of you who might not know what the heck is this thing is called the Ableton Push 2, which is, for me, the best controller for Ableton Live. This thing can do so many different things, like apply effects, launch scenes, do sound design, shop samples, so many different things. Most of the time I've seen people use it on more of electronic side of music or hip hop, which is cool, I make beats with this thing too, but today I want to try something different. I want to see if I can play the blues with this thing. Like someone said, blues is the mother of all the modern music today. So I think it's a fun idea to try to look back at the root where we came from and try to play it with modern day device. I know it sounds nerdy as hell, man, but I'm a nerd, so it makes sense, I guess. Okay, so let's get into it. First off, I listened to lots of blues for the past few days, and here are things I learned. Number one is the 12-bar blues form. This one is a number one hit for blues players to learn, and it looks like this. As you can see, it's not like super complicated chord changes, it's just three chords over and over. There are thousands of great blues tunes made over these three chords. Number two is the shuffle feel. Again, there are tons of blues tunes using this type of rhythm. It's kind of a triplet based type of rhythm. Mainly you play the first one and the last one of the triplets. So it sounds like horse running or something like that. We'll talk about it later. Number three, maybe the most important one, is the soul. Great blues player put their soul in their playing. That's why it sounds so good. Which is what I doubt myself if I can do, because, I don't even have a life. Why do you expect me to have soul? But we'll try it anyway. So let's begin. I think I'm gonna play the blues jam in a trio format: guitar, bass, and drums. The problem is, I don't have a trio. I don't even have friends. So I'm gonna play everything myself with the push. First off, I think I'm gonna start off with the drums. Now, for the drum sound, I'm using Addictive Drums 2 from XLN Audio, which is always my go-to when it comes to, realistic drum sound. I think it sounds great. So here's how my finger drumming layout looks like. This is what some people call the mirrored layout, which is divided into two sides and is exactly the same, just mirrored. So for this orange one is kick. This one is the snare, the rim shot. This is the side stick. Here's the open snare. I use it as ghost notes too. Here the yellow one is a hi-hat. This one is open hi-hat. This one is foot hi-hat. The green zone here represents all the symbols. So this one is right, this one is right bell, crash, something like that. And the dimmer green here is the cymbal choke. Blue zone here represents toms. Let's talk about the shuffle feel. Shuffle drums, I have no idea how to play it. So I watched this Drumeo video about blues drumming. This is a great video, guys. If you want to get into blues drumming, you should check it out. Now I try to translate it into my finger drumming. First off, let's pick a BPM that we want to play. I think we're good around 112 maybe. Actually, we can't play in 112. In my country, Thailand, 112 is untouchable number. You can't mess with it. I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm gonna scroll down just 1 BPM, 111. Awesome. Now we can move on. So this is shuffle drums pattern. I'm gonna keep it really simple because I can't do fancy stuff. Something like that. A bit too sloppy, so I'm gonna practice some more. But now we're gonna look at the bass. For the bass here, I'm using IK Multimedia's Modo bass, which is another one of my go-to when it comes to electric bass sounds. I think this is awesome because this is not a sample library. It's a synthesis bass sound, but it sounds kind of good, I think. So for the bass, I think most of the time the bass player just don't do much. They just keep the rhythm and the form. Most of the time, I think they play something repetitive in patterns. It's gonna be something like this. Something like that. Again, a bit too sloppy, but I'm gonna work on it. So now here it comes, the guitar part. For the guitar sound, I'm using Ample Guitar SC3, which is a sample library for Strat guitar from a company called Ample Sound. I love this one. I think it sounds pretty decent. It's gonna be a difficult one, man, because blues is so many times driven by a guitar. First off, I think it's a good idea to learn the chord first. So as you can see in the chart here, the blues is made out of dominant 7 type of chord all the time. So we have to learn a dominant 7 chord, of course. I'm gonna play this one in key of A because I think lots of blues tune they play in the key that they can use a lot of open strings. So yeah, A is good. Now, dominant chord in a basic form looks like this. It's gonna be the root, 3rd, 5th, then the flat 7th. So here's how A7 looks like. But the guitar player is not gonna play in this shape all the time. You know, sometimes the guitar player just move around the neck and play in different positions. I find this one sounds pretty good. It's gonna be 1, flat 7, 3rd. So it's a dominant chord already. But we're gonna add the 5th, which is E, and then A. I think this one sounds good, and you know, guitar player, they can play like 1 note per string, so most of the time they don't play notes that close to each other too much so often, so it's gonna sound like this. Next, it's gonna be the 4 chord. So in case we're in key of A, we're gonna move to D7. So now we move to D7 of this shape. So it's gonna be root, 3rd, 7th, 9th, and 5th. So now we can have a variety of dominant chord. We can add a 9th. Then the next one is the 5 chord, which is gonna be E7. We can just easily move up. In a push, we have a layout that is always the 4th vertically. So it's gonna be C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and then B. You can look at it like the short scale 8-string bass. So you can use the same shape, D9, then you move up, it's gonna be E9. Pretty similar to guitar or bass. The next thing that I've learned is they not just using 7th or 9th chord, you can add other tensions. In this case, I find this voicing is pretty cool. It's gonna be A13. I heard some people use this type of chord, which sounds nice. And also, I heard some people do this at the sharp 9th of the chord. So that's what People called it the Hendrix chord because it's the beginning chord of Foxy Lady. So we can use different type of dominant 7 for sure. Okay, now let's take a look at what we can use to play melodies, to do solo and improvise over the blues form. There's a thing called the blues scale. This is the minor blues scale, A minor blues scale. So it's almost exactly the same as minor pentatonic. We add one note, which is the flat 5. In case we're in A, this is E flat. So here's minor pentatonic. We just add this note. Then we have major blues. So it's almost exactly the same as major pentatonic. Here's major pentatonic. But what we do is we add the flat 3 of the scale. So it's going to be A, B, C, then C sharp, the 3rd note, then the 5th, the 6th, and the 1. Oh, and if we're gonna play the solo, I think we need a little friend here. Here's Launchpad X. This VST, the Ample Guitar SC, it has a thing called the key switch, which is in the lower octave. You have some notes that is not gonna play a note. If you press the key, it's gonna change articulations. For example, we can press this key on the Launchpad X, and then it palm mute everything. Back to normal. Or slide up to the note. Something like that. So we're gonna need a companion because the range of the push itself is a bit too narrow. I would love to have like 12 by 12 version of push. It's gonna be awesome. And also, if you can't afford the push, because it's quite an expensive device, you can buy this thing. You can also play exactly the same thing. Cheaper option if you don't have a push and you want to try this type of thing, Launchpad is the way to go. Except you wouldn't be able to plug in a sustain pedal or use the touch strip for bending or modulation, stuff like that. Now what I have to practice for solo the blues, I guess, is the language of it. I learned little bits from some of the solos that I think sounding really good, and I try to imitate it with push, like something like that. Like I learned some words from other blues player and try to imitate it and try to make a phrase out of a few words that I know. You know, I just learned it a few days ago, so don't expect too much. I'll try to jam it out and I'll try to make it sound acceptable at least. We'll see. Thank you. If you made it this far, please consider subscribe and hit the like button and hit the damn bell. I'll love you forever, please. So here's my take on the blues jam in A on this chessboard. Hope you guys enjoy. So that's it, guys. I know it's nothing near the best blues jam that you ever heard or something like that, but I don't think anybody's gonna be stupid enough to actually believe that this nerdy Asian dude would become a blues master overnight, right? I can't even speak English properly. What do you expect? Anyway, I want to hear your thoughts on this, or any suggestions are welcome. Please let me know in a comment. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.